in Samasthiti, or equal standing pose. This is the seed, the root of all of the postures we practice in Ashtanga yoga. So it's super important to take the time to really set up an integrated posture, one that's internally oriented and really working to find that balance between stability and ease, sthira and sukham. So finding this balance, this experience of holding both of those expressions of stability, of groundedness, of rootedness, and then of ease, of lightness, of releasing, feeling both of those experiences at the same time, it's really hard. But if we learn to feel into that in a really simple posture like Samasthiti, then it'll become much more accessible in more advanced postures. And when we're working with more advanced postures, feeling into that experience of stability and ease at the same time becomes essential. If not, we'll lose it, we'll freak out, it'll be really difficult, and we won't be able to come back into that state of yoga, or that state of integration, of mindfulness, of coming into the present moment. So take time before you start your practice, and even in between some of the standing postures, we come back to Samasthiti. You can take a moment to reestablish all of these foundational elements of the posture, which I'm going to go through right now. So we'll start from the ground up. You can have the big toes touching with the heels slightly apart, or if you want to separate the feet a little bit, you can, if that makes you feel more stable. Sometimes at the beginning of the practice, I need to separate my feet a little bit, and then as the practice continues, it feels more comfortable to bring the feet together. So just feeling into that. What is more stable for you? And then from there, I'm going to bring the big toes together with the heels apart. From there, feel the base of the feet spreading. So I like to press through the base of the big toes and lift the outside edges of the feet out, and then place them back down slowly so that the base of the foot, the base of the toes gets really wide. And then from there, feel the four corners of the foot. And then at first you can see where the body is naturally going, how it's orienting around those four corners of each foot, and then actively press down through the four corners. So you're evenly pressing down through all of the four corners. Feel into that stability. Feel into that connection that the body is making with the ground. So it's that really subtle space between the foot and the floor. You can feel into that. Feel the weight of the body moving down through those points of contact. Good. We're like dropping the mind down into the feet. That helps to ground us. And then maybe you start to notice the mind settling. From there, you press down, and then to further stabilize your connection to the ground, lift the kneecaps and engage the quadriceps. So you're creating a really steady foundation. And then moving up even further into the pelvis, feeling the pubic bone and the coccyx bone, so in the front and in the back, moving down towards each other. So it's energetically that those 2 points are moving down towards each other, down to the root of the pelvis, down to Mula Bandha. So they're moving towards each other, and you feel the pelvic floor starting to engage and tone. From there, keep dropping the pubic bone and the tailbone as you draw the lowest part of the lower belly, just above the pubic bone, drawing that part of the lower belly in and up. So it feels like you're pulling the energy down to the base of the pelvis, and then you're moving it up by drawing the lower belly in to help move the energy up along the spine. And then you start to feel the sense of lightness moving up along the spine as you feel the spine lifting up and out of the pelvis with a sense of effortlessness. So we're trying to find a straight spine, we're holding it with integrity, but with as little effort as possible, because we have such a strong foundation that's got us. So we can find lightness and release along the spine as you keep lifting up through the center of the heart. Keep the energy moving up through the neck as you release the tension in the neck, up through the throat, through the center of the crown of the head, and out through the crown of the head. The back of the neck, the base of the neck spreads wide. So you don't want the neck to be hanging back, Feel a spreading and a widening through the base of the skull. So that also helps to continue the line of the spine up through the crown of the head. And that also might mean that you need to draw the chin back and down a little bit to come into that center line. And so you have the sense of the skull floating above the rib cage and the rib cage floating above the pelvis. So that sense of floating. So it's not static and locked. It's sort of just kind of like moving over each other, the skull over the rib cage over the pelvis. So you can find this natural sense of alignment. And once you have that strong, steady foundation and that lifting up through the spine, at the same time, feel the feet rooting down and the crown of the head reaching up. Start to feel that balance of stability and release and ease and comfort. Spread along the collarbones as you roll the collarbones back, so you keep the heart open, but you don't want to squeeze the shoulder blades. Keep the back nice and wide as you relax the shoulders and keep lifting through the heart. And then as you take deep breaths here, this is also a good place before you start the practice to tune into the breath and to establish the breath. So as you draw the lower belly in and you take a deep breath in, feel the rib cage expand through the sides, maybe through the back, through the front. And then as you exhale, keep lifting up through the heart. Good. And if you want, you could even close your eyes. And then you can also take a moment here to throw out all of the points that I just said, throw out all technique, and just feel into the center line. Feel into the experience of your center line and how the body needs to be positioned and oriented around that center line to come into that place of balance. All right, and then take all of these points with you and see how you can integrate them in every single posture. Thank you.